Good morning, friends. You're getting the me that wakes up at 3:30 in the morning. It's now 5:44, so I've been up for a couple hours. I've watched portions of videos from the Collective Trauma Summit that I think today's Saturday, so I think the summit ends today. You can still contact the Thomas Hubel group. You can just search Collective Trauma Summit, and when you go to it, if you pay $77, pay them $77, you'll get lifetime access to the majority of the videos. Some of them you just will get a couple weeks access because of contracts, keeping contracts. But anyway, for $77, you can get a year's worth of trauma therapy, which to me seemed like a really good deal because if you were to go to a trauma therapist, you'd maybe get 15 minutes for $77. But by paying the collective $77, you'll get a year of trauma therapy. And it's been going on for a week now. And yeah, I'm a different person after 1 week. And I haven't been keeping up. I'm not trying to keep up with the videos because I have changed. So how I was in the past was a person that had a habit of being in fight or flight. So everything I did in many ways came out of fight or flight. How I studied about healing came out of fight or flight. I was in total fight or flight as I went through graduate school, that I was going to fail, because that was an underlying fear of mine, was failure. And so I had to overdo in order to make sure there was no possibility I would fail. And so I did well in school. But I wasn't able to be very present. If I was more present if I was teaching than if I was learning. Although my interest was purely in learning and teaching and learning and teaching how to overcome the traumas of my childhood. I was in a store yesterday with my wife in Port Townsend on the Olympic Peninsula, and we take the ferry over and just walk 4 miles or so through the hills around the town. And we were getting ready to head back. We stopped in this store my wife wanted to just walk through. And of course, I just got into conversation with the store owner about trauma. And I really liked what she said, because I'm not pushing trauma. That'd be traumatic. But I liked what she said, where she said, I only look forward. I don't look back. And if that's the case, there's stuff back there. If you're not looking back, there's stuff. And if you don't look back and you don't resolve that stuff, it's possible that that stuff determines your future. Because unless you're present, fully present, which comes about from resolving the past and allowing that past to come forward and be resolved, then you are just projecting that, unconsciously projecting that past into the future and experiencing it again. Basically, that's where our world is at. Currently, it's war, 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 war. Aggression, possession, grab what you can, extract what you can, and we have the world that we have. And I don't really want to say how anybody should look at the world. I can just speak of how I look at the world. And how I look at the world is, the world for me is in a major transition, which could be looked at as a crisis, as a dissolution of the world as we've lived it. And maybe even some who were resourced had, good parents who cared for them and, helped them, get education or get in the world so that they could live in a resource way. That might be just a small percentage of the people whose parents had the resources, and then they resourced their children and the children. But many of us just were able to tap into the resources within. Even if we didn't have the resources without, we may have had the resources within, and the agency, the feeling like I can at least try this, and then have the experience of, oh, I was successful, I was able to accomplish this, which kept us going in the direction like, well, I can try this, and if I'm successful, I can move forward. And so if you're in fight or flight, then you were kind of moving forward because you were running away from the past. But the more that the past is resolved, the more you are present, and the less there is that you might be trying to move away from. And you can bring that forward and feel the pain, the discomfort, the bodily sensations that are present with unresolved events. So it's easier if we just call them unresolved events, unfinished business, karma, as opposed to traumatic events. But if it's an event that you couldn't handle, it was a trauma. And then if you get resourced to the point where you can handle it, it's a healing. And the more you heal, the more resources you have access to, and the more you can heal. And the more you heal, you are more of a resource to others who are healing. And that can lead in a collective way to the world healing. That's what I'm up to. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in much else. So, who do I hang out with? Traumatized people. Why do I hang out with them? Because they're lovely human beings that just need a little help to come out of the unresolved events of their past by having someone that can hold a space for them to do that and let them know they are held. You are safe. You can do this if you just allow yourself to experience discomfort. That's all it is. It was overwhelming discomfort from the past. It is possibly less overwhelming now You might have the resources now to look at these things. And if your name is Deborah, you can just be a remarkable human being. Or if your name's Harjanis, or Chris, or any of the others of you that are just taking this in and moving forward with it. And it's delightful for me to watch. And so that's enough for today. I may do a few more videos, but my videos now are about how I have changed and how I am present and how we can do this together. All right. And of course, now must go before I get frozen out.